Welcome to the future. Prepare to immerse yourself with the key creators in the world of Web3. It's time to get excited. The Credit Metaverse Podcast.
How long did it took to 1 million downloads?
Just a few months, I think. It may not have been till after I changed the name to Soccer Battle.
Welcome to yet another episode of Credit Metaverse Podcast. Today we have a special guest from gaming industry, Joe Hopkins. Welcome, Joe, and thanks for joining us today. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good, Carlo. How are you?
Doing fine. Very happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, I would like you to tell us who is Joe Hopkins and what's your story in short.
So I run Doble Tap, which is a mobile free-to-play mobile game developer and publisher, and I've been doing that close to since the iPad came out. That's when I started working on mobile games. I created a kick return game that was a predecessor to Ted Ginn Kick Return, which was our first hit game on the iPad back in 2019. And then a couple of years later, I left my job and I did mobile full time, and that's how this company came to be.
Amazing. So you're a veteran in the industry.
Yeah, I'm not that old, but the industry's not that old, so.
That's true. Nowadays, technology and everything is evolving so fast. So a few years of being engaged somewhere can make you already kind of a veteran.
Yeah.
So first of all, at least how I get to know you and how let's say from my point of view, the most popular product, Soccer Battle. So yeah, it's one of the top performing mobile games with over 6.5 downloads only on Play Store, and also accessible for iPhone devices. Not having a number, how many downloads, maybe you can share.
Sorry, I'm getting over a cold still, like I told you last week. Soccer Battle, I released it. I worked with the Photon guys to develop the initial game, and they've been helping me out with it ever since, which was a few years ago now. And it's just the idea of having a 3v3 real-time game, like how there's shooters like that, but with actual focus on sports. And the original idea was going to be all different sports you'd play. Like you could play hockey or like ultimate frisbee, but it proved to be too much of a big scope for me to handle because I'm the only full-time person here. So I just kept it to soccer. It was originally called Superstar Champions, and then it was changed. Did you see it on the store back before it was Soccer Battle?
No, actually, I found out about it maybe season 2.
Yeah, it was called Real Time Champions. Then I think it was changed to Superstar Champions. But then I was like, I'm just going to keep it soccer. And then soccer, having the name soccer in the front helps with the App Store optimization. So that's how people like you were able to find it. But it's been good. I always wanted to have a competitive game, create a competitive game with a competitive scene. I wanted a game where people were like complaining about balances between characters and things. I thought that would be so cool. I grew up playing StarCraft Brood War. Then in college, I had a Counter-Strike 1.6 clan, and I just love competition and competitive gaming. And that was an exciting opportunity for me to be able to do that with a mobile game. At the time, there wasn't a lot of real-time competitive games. There was. I mean, this was after Fortnite already came out. Brawl Stars had just came out, but there still wasn't that much in terms of competition. So that's the idea behind the game.
Amazing. When did it come out exactly, this first iteration?
I don't have it. I think 2007, no, 2018, maybe 2018, somewhere around there.
So near or around 5 years or something like that, or
Yeah, I should. Can we pause here and I can look it up?
Not important.
Yeah, hang on. Let me look it up.
Exactly.
Let's see.
So, can you tell me what is the future vision for Soccer Battle?
So I've been working on trying to improve the engagement, especially the day one retention in it, over the past few weeks and over the next couple months. I'm going to be doing lots of A/B tests using Google's Firebase product to try out some modifications to the control system to try and help with day one retention. And then based on what sort of KPIs we can improve, that will dictate what the next steps of the game are. But I'm going to be continuing to work on the game, and there's a lot of different features I'd like to implement.
Yeah,
so here we go. So Sports Battle. I don't know if that was the code name for it or the or if that was actual name in the store at the time, but it came out 2019, beginning of 2019. That's when Soccer Battle, the first iteration, came out of it. And
how long did it took to 1 million downloads?
Just a few months, I think. I'm not sure. It may not have been till after I changed the name to Soccer Battle. But one of the keys to getting a lot of downloads is to App Store optimization, whether that's the name or especially the icon. I've tested hundreds of different icons in the store. Excuse me.
No problem. Yeah, so it seems like it's important to reach out to the players and for them to find the game and then to realize how good it is actually, right?
Yeah, I don't really do user acquisition, so it's mostly organic. So that means that it needs to have really good App Store optimization. Most games, because it's just me that's full time, I don't need a huge velocity of installs to support the business. So I don't need a game that scales up through user acquisition. Normally, you would scale the game up by acquiring a user for $1, and then that user makes you $1.35. But I'm not able to scale this up profitably at this point. But maybe once I improve some KPIs, we can. But luckily, it has a lot of organic traction.
And what do you see in the future? Are you gonna continue with Soccer Battle as a main focus, or do you have something else in some other game development?
Right now I'm in the middle of a basketball battle update. I update that every few months, mainly just to get all the SDKs up to date, and I'll add in small new features here and there to keep the game interesting. And so between basketball battle and soccer battle, that's where my focus will be for at least the next 2 years. And there's a basketball version of soccer battle called Basketball Rift, which kind of got lost in the shuffle when we were doing a lot of upgrades to soccer battle, the soccer battle engine. So I'll be revisiting that at some point in 2023, but it's a lot for one person to do this many games. I don't plan on creating a brand new game anytime soon. It's just too much to put on my plate. And I also still have TED Gig and Kick Return, which needs to get updated again at some point to be compliant with Google's new and Apple's new, mainly Google's new SDK requirements and API targeting requirements.
You also touched the base in crypto NFT space. You introduced the MetaMask login as well, Soccer Battle at some point, right?
Yeah.
Some NFTs.
Yeah, I was really excited about. I was listening to all the kind of crypto podcast in terms of talking about the underlying technology in it. I wasn't into the speculating and all that, but so I worked with some guys who had a service that allowed you to, they handled the part of connecting they had a database that then was updated based on the user's wallet, and I was their first customer, and they gave me the service for free. I was helping them build the product. So basically in Soccer Battle, you could log in your MetaMask, and then any NFTs that were supported as a collection in the game, you could use as a graffiti on the field, like how you spray graffiti in Call of Duty or whatever. So that was the idea. So if you had like a Bored Ape or yada yada, and so it supported third-party collections like Bored Ape and things like that, and then also I could create first-party collections for Soccer Battle. And the third-party collections, I tried to get the word out about it, but nobody cared. And so I'm like, here, everybody's talking about the metaverse and this, that, and utility of NFTs and transferring between games. So here I built a game that you could transfer your NFTs into, and nobody cared. And then our existing players, they weren't interested in NFTs, and they just found the whole process cumbersome in terms of they didn't understand, why do I have to sign into a MetaMask, create all this. So they would have been happier if I just sent the graffiti right to their account rather than creating an NFT and then sending it to their wallet. So what I learned from all that is that there's not a lot of market demand right now for actual NFT things like that, at least among the people I'm able to reach with my reach in the mobile gaming sphere and on Twitter.
By the way, did you try to market this feature towards Web3 communities, towards essentially people who already have NFTs, instead of trying to get the existing users to actually get familiar with NFTs, MetaMask and stuff?
Yeah, so I tried also going through that route, but I don't have like 10,000 followers in the Web3 communities, and then when you try and go in there, they see stuff pushed all the time, all this people promoting their stuff, and it's really noisy, and most, like, Soccer Battle is somewhat of a niche game. You either love it or you just don't get it at all. So the odds of someone being in Web3 that I reached that then also like Soccer Battle is like a 1% chance. So I would have to reach 1,000 people in the Web3 community just to get 10 of them that were interested in it. So that was the problem that I encountered.
Just one thing that I would do, for example, in your place, I would partner with certain collection directly, so they would market the game to their community, because usually these top collections on Ethereum have maybe on average at least 50,000 users, followers, whatsoever. So if players in Soccer Battle could spray their NFTs from this collection on the field and stuff like that, I'm sure that people would like to try it, and potentially you would have actually some of them staying and sticking with the game because they would enjoy the game. That's at least the route I would kind of try to go with.
Yeah. At the time, I remember trying a few different things, but and it's just hard because it's a numbers game. Like Soccer Battle gets over 30,000 new downloads a day, so it's hard to make a dent in terms of adding to that based on reaching out to communities of tens of thousands of people. So
understandable.
Yeah.
By the way, what's your opinion in regards to advantages and disadvantages of gamify versus traditional gaming and traditional games?
So what is gamify? What do you mean by that?
So gamify is pretty much games that have incorporated tokens, NFTs, trading, where people can actually convert their assets, tokens, to actually fiat down the road, etc. Right? Where on the other hand, you have the conventional games like Soccer Battle, where you play, your assets are within the game, so you can't really withdraw them. I can't sell it on some marketplace. I cannot monetize it as a player, right? So that's pretty much the main difference between the GameFi and traditional gaming.
Yeah. So what I liked about trying to utilize NFTs in Soccer Battle was the idea that I don't need to build a marketplace for people to trade these items or sell these items. There's already all these marketplaces. Any Ethereum or Polygon enabled marketplace, you could use it to do that. And then that's what I liked about it. And then also that I was hoping that existing players would find value in it, but most of them didn't find value in that. And then in terms of how that relates to GameFi in general, I'm just focused on making a fun game that people want to play, not to make money on, but just because they enjoy playing
to enjoy
it.
their time, yeah.
And it adds a lot of complications when you try and make it so that people can earn money by selling the items that they got in the game. I think I'll definitely be watching to see what happens with more GameFi type games in the future. I don't know when or what's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years, and it's tough with the platforms. Apple is you can't use an NFT to unlock functionality anymore. I don't know if it was ever allowed, but they explicitly said that you can't do that. So there's a lot of things with blockchain and gaming that are kind of up in the air right now. So I'll definitely be watching the space to see what happens, but I'm not so sure what's going to happen. I know you have your NFT Battle Miners. Is that your main GameFi game right now, or?
Yes, it is. It is. We are live since September 21, and the space is much smaller in comparison. So we don't have multiple millions of users. We are around 18,000 users so far. So in regards to player base, it's much smaller, and you're right. That's actually the majority of gamers still are not familiar with crypto, with all those wallets and so on. So yeah, it is very niche business, I would say, at the moment yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with it. I kind of was hoping more would happen with it than has happened up to this point, but we'll see.
Yeah, also I would like to see what you think about the future, about the mobile gaming versus desktop gaming. Will the trend continue with mobile gaming overperforming the desktop gaming? Or will some platforms actually start overtaking the majority of the market?
Well, mobile gaming is almost ubiquitous now, I guess, across the whole world. And up to date on the overall industry as much as I should be, or as much as I could be. But there was a few years ago, there was a shooter game that came out for Latin America that targeted a little bit lower end mobile devices, and my games are translated into over 20 different languages to make sure we can support players all around the world. And I really like the idea of mobile gaming because of the simplicity of the device and the setup, and the fact that everybody has access to it. I would still like to see some sort of real-time strategy game like StarCraft come out on mobile that is actually more equal to what's on desktop. I'm excited about the man, I'm doing a terrible job with this podcast.
No, man, don't worry, you're doing awesome.
I mean, I think that both spaces, I mean, it's hard right now because we're in a bit of a downturn. Apple app tracking transparency hit the past year, so Apple, it's been hard for game companies on Apple, which is the majority of game revenue for most companies, and then with the global economic situation. So there's a bit of a downturn, but overall, I think that over the next 5 years, I think mobile will continue to grow, and I think that desktop and console will also continue to grow, even though I don't plan on doing any desktop or console games. But that's also just because I was never a console gamer. I was always a PC gamer, and so maybe I would have develop a PC game, but I develop on Mac, and it's a little bit hard to develop for Steam on the Mac. But otherwise, I'd have a piece. I'd like to put Soccer Battle on Steam. But to answer to answer your question, mobile is going to continue to grow. And when the iPad came out, I knew mobile was just going to keep getting better and better and better, and that's why I left my job and did mobile full time, because I saw the future of it. And I think it will continue to be the best, especially for small companies, the best place to develop. We'll see what happens with Apple and Google. I think that Apple and Google are going to be forced to take their hands off of the app stores a little bit more because they're stifling a lot of business models and a lot of competition. I think that will happen over the next couple of years. So I think the mobile space is a good place to be in still.
Could you tell me more about free-to-play genre in general? Is it hard to get you viral nowadays for new developers? I believe that competition is becoming tougher than ever, but I'm sure you have much more input on this.
Yeah. So, it's a lot easier to have success in free-to-play than if you're trying to get people to pay for it. The best feature of a free-to-play game is the fact that it's free to play. So that is really great for companies like me, who people have never heard of me or my games, and they don't need to pay any money to try it. Whereas when you had to pay for games up front, you needed to spend brand advertising dollars to build trust with your audience so that they trusted to pay the money for the game. I mean, there are indie developers on Steam and things like that, and you can get traction, but it's just a lot easier with free to play, at least for studios like me. And it is very hard now because there's so much competition. There's going to be so many different apps you're fighting with in terms of the Google Play algorithm and the App Store algorithm. And then also, if you're doing user acquisition, you're competing with all those other games to acquire those users. So if you're just getting into it, it might be best to get a job at a free-to-play studio to learn first, because it's not like it was back in the day where you could just put a game out there.
What would be your main advice for someone trying to pioneer in this industry?
Someone who's not in the industry yet or coming in, like you?
Let's say someone is coming down the path of free-to-play. So from the desktop development or some developer that haven't been developing the game yet, or some studio that is starting with it.
I would just say, make prototypes and test them with people. Use Playtest Cloud and use friends as testers, and then also don't be afraid to release it on the stores even when it's not ready yet. That's always been my key to success. I've released dozens of games, and then I only kept developing the ones that got traction, that had good retention. I mean, that's the key to free-to-play development. If you know nothing about it, it's retention, and you can boil it down to just day one retention. That's the key metric. So make a few different prototypes, whichever has the highest day one retention, then you double down on that one.
I think I had some interruption for the moment on my side with the internet connection. But it's no issue because
it should be recording on my side.
The Riverside records when you talk.
Yeah, that's cool. This is a cool program, a web-based studio recording software.
Much it's the best for what we need.
Is it expensive?
I'm actually not sure because I was not handling the payments of it, but I don't think it's very expensive. Also, I would like to ask one last question, and that would be like, could you tell us one interesting anecdote from your development life or something?
Like a story that happened? Something?
Yeah, something for the end.
Oh, all right. Well, I can tell my story of how I kind of came, my big break, I guess that's what you call it, when Ted Ginn Kick Return came out. Just a few weeks after it came out, I got an email from someone at ESPN saying, "Hey, I just interviewed Ted Ginn Jr. and he was really excited about his game. Do you have any footage of it? We wanted to put on a B-roll." And I thought, I don't have any footage. I didn't really know what he was talking about, so I just sent him some screenshots of the game, and then I was like, maybe I should get some footage. So I downloaded screen recording software and recorded myself playing the game, and then I sent that back. And then 6 hours later, Ted Ginn Jr., he's on national television on ESPN Sports Center, and they ask him a couple questions, and one of them is, what's something people don't know about you? And he says, that I have a mobile game. And then they showed Ted Ginn Kick Return on the screen with the music, and they showed the footage that I just recorded in my apartment on national TV and it was like a 2-minute segment, and it was amazing. So in all the bars across America and everybody's home, my game was playing. And then the next day it was on the top. It was a top 5 app on the App Store for like a week. And that was before I even had ads in the game. It was just in-app purchase, and it was really exciting. It was right when Flappy Bird came out, so it was right below Flappy Bird. So that was that's when I knew that this was going to be for the long term.
Very nice, very nice. Joe, thank you so much for sharing things with us, for hanging out with us. It was a really pleasure to have you here. And maybe in the future, maybe in a year, we can catch up again. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for playing Soccer Battle. I know that's how we first connected, and I know you've been playing a little bit again here and there after being one of the great originals, and we'll have to play again sometime soon.
Yes, we should, definitely. So thank you. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
We bring you essential conversations with the key creators of the new world of interaction and connection. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing and join the conversation. See you next time on the Credit Metaverse Podcast.